You know, the great challenge of a golf swing is twofold. Number one is to take two motors, your arms and club motor and your body motor, and get them tied in together so they're operating together and efficiently. The second great challenge is to understand the two aspects of a plane. We're playing a side-on game, which means we're standing to the side of the object we're going to hit, means that we've got to go in a circle. The second challenge is the fact the ball's on the ground and we've got to have enough up and down or down, under, and up to get the ball off the ground into the air. Now, the swing shirt, and I've got the sleeves zipped down, is going to assure the fact that my arms are now tied in with my body pivot. Now let's look at what happens to the two challenges of the plane. Number one, I've got to pivot now with my arms tied in, which will take care of the circular nature of the golf swing. But since my arms can't excessively go up in the air anymore, how do I take care of the fact that I need to still have a plane that's going to hit down, under, and up? That's pretty easy. That's just by bending over some. By bending over some, when I make my pivot, the club still goes up and down as it goes around me. Now, how can you tell which one of the two things in a plane that you need the most? If you're digging and chopping and hitting sky balls too much, if your golf swing is what we call too narrow, you look too much like this, good for you, you've got your arms tied in, but you're too choppy, too steep, that's your signal. You need to concentrate more on the pivot of the golf swing. Your arms are now tied in, but you need to get a better pivot with your body so the club all of a sudden starts swinging wider because of the pivot instead of so narrow. Now, if you're just the opposite, you're what we call too sweepy. In other words, you tend to not be able to ever take a divot, and you tend to kind of stand here and make everything too flat, and you can't get down to the ball. You're that golfer that needs to concentrate with the sleeves zipped up, that when you pivot, you need to be bent over enough that that pivot now allows the club to work up and down and back up again as you turn. So find out which golfer you are. Are you the golfer whose swing is too sweepy, or are you the golfer whose swing is a little too choppy? I like to tie some of these instructional tips into actual ball flight. And I'm going to talk about one that's the dreaded shank. Now, the shank, first of all, is hit right here on the heel of the golf club. And the shank is usually caused when the golf club gets too far behind me, it will go too far in front of me. And when it goes too far in front of me, it hits right on the shank. I need to get the golf swing a little bit more up and down. There's two things you can do that will help you. Number one is to bend over a little bit more so you can get the swing up and down. The second one is alter how your sleeves are zipped. I would, if I were shanking, suggest that you unzip the right sleeve but keep the left sleeve zipped. You see what you're doing, and I'll unzip my left sleeve here for just a second, maybe. There we are. What you're doing is your golf swing has gotten too flat. Chances are your right arm is tied very close to your body, but your left arm has all of a sudden gotten away from you. That golf club is now too far behind you, and it's going to come out here too far in front of you, leading with the shank. So the worst thing you can do is have the right sleeve zipped and the left sleeve not zipped. Reverse it. All of a sudden unzip the right sleeve, but zip up the left sleeve, so when you do, that left sleeve is now tight to your body and it can't raise up here out away from you. So when you bend over a little bit, the left arm comes closer to you, the right arm is a little bit free and can now get the club more upright, if you will. that club's not going so far behind me, and that club won't come as far in front of me, and you'll get rid of your shanks. Let's talk about you golfers that are hitting the ball too much off the toe of the golf club. Someone who's hitting too much off the toe of the golf club usually has the club going too vertically in the air. Now, when that goes vertically in the air, it didn't get very far behind me. In fact, this golfer right here, it didn't get it behind them at all. It's just right over the top of their head. Now, a club that's not going to get very far behind me isn't going to go very far in front of me. There's not enough around motion. There's not enough a club behind me and a club in front of me in this golfer's golf swing. It's all up and down in front of them. So you can adjust how you're going to use the sleeves of your shirt to get the club to swing more around. First thing you can do is get both shirt sleeves tied down and concentrate on a more decided pivot in the game, even if you stood up just a little bit, that can start to get the swing more around. As the club goes farther behind you, it will come more in front of you and you won't hit so much off the toe. The second way you can do it is leave the right sleeve zipped down and unzip the left sleeve. When you unzip the left sleeve with the right sleeve zipped down, your left arm is now free to let the club go quite a bit around behind you. That can become excessive. If it becomes excessive, just zip that sleeve back down. But that will certainly let the club swing more behind you, which will let the club swing more in front of you, and you'll get rid of those toe shots. Okay, let's talk about you golfers whose golf shots go too high. Now, to hit a ball too high is when you all of a sudden have too much angle down, under, and up. You're either chopping underneath the ball and it slides too much up the club face, or you're scooping the ball and keep scooping it up in the air. You have too what I call narrow of an area along the bottom of the swing. We need to get it wider. For you, you need to get both of these zipped down, so your sleeves are zipped down, your arms are down to your side, and you need to concentrate on not only the pivot, but it's okay if you even slide your head and upper body a little to the right, and then make sure you come through on the left. This will bring the ball down because it will create a longer bottom to where the club is swinging more on a level angle through the ball, which will send the shot lower. It's also an excellent way to learn how to hit punch shots, or what we'd call three-quarter shots, is when the swing starts getting shorter but wider on both sides of the golf ball. You'll start to get a penetration into the back of that ball and send that ball a lot lower. Golfers who are hitting the ball too low, you golfers are lacking enough down, under, and up to make the ball move up the club face to get it in the air. Chances are you're either swinging up at the golf ball or you're swinging too sweepy along the ground. Either one of those will hit the ball too low. If you're swinging up in an effort to try and get the ball into the air, all you're doing is hitting the ball on the bottom of the golf club while you swing up and the ball stays along the ground. So what we want to do is teach you how to get down, under the ball, and up. For you golfers who hit the ball too low, especially say with your hybrids or fairway woods or long irons, you have a difficult time getting the ball up in the air. There's two reasons that you would hit the ball too low. Number one is your swing has gotten too sweepy. The club is traveling along the ground so much with such a wide bottom down here to your swing that the club just keeps hitting the side of the ball and sends the ball low. The second reason you'd hit it too low is because you're trying to help the ball in the air and you keep swinging up at the golf ball. this way. And when you swing up at the golf ball, you hit on the bottom of the club and the ball goes too low. Well, let's talk about fixing those two problems. You need to start getting the bottom of your swing more down, under, and up in order to, when you hit down, to get the ball to slide up the club face. When I hit down, the ball will come up. So I'm going to hit down under the ball and back up. I'm going to get a narrower bottom. Now, how do I do that? Well, I'm still going to keep my sleeves zipped down so my arms are down against my side because I want my two motors in sync with one another, but I'm going to bend over a lot. By bending over a lot, it all of a sudden makes my shoulders turn on a steeper angle. And with my shoulders turning on a steeper angle, it all of a sudden puts the club swinging on a steeper angle as well. So just feel like you're going to put your chest and face your chest more towards the ground. You make a natural turn that will feel steeper, and then allow your chest to come back, face the ground again, and then let your shoulders turn through. Another easy way to do it is to put a club up here against your shoulders, and when you bend over, just feel the club turning on a little bit more of an upright plane.